Hello, family and friends. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to watch this video. I wanted to do this video to just share a little bit more of my heart on the country of Brazil and why I am going, and a little bit more about my trip. Well, it all started when I was about 11 years old, and God speaks to me a lot in dreams. And actually, when I was 11, I had a dream about the Brazilian flag, the exact flag that is behind me right now. And in this dream, I just remember seeing the colors of Brazil, the green and yellow and blue. And at that time, as I woke up, I didn't know what country that flag was from. Then, when I was a freshman in high school, when I was about 14 or 15, a geography teacher of mine put on display the Brazilian flag. And at that moment, God brought back to my remembrance of the flag and the dream that He had given me. And then she said, "Oh, this is the Brazilian flag. They speak Portuguese." So I got to know a little bit more about the country of Brazil. And in that moment, I just had a feeling within my heart that God was going to someday bring me to the country of Brazil. I had no other desires or reasons to go at the time, but I just had that feeling and thought within my mind and within my heart. And so going along, as I was in high school, my parents were involved in foreign exchange student program that brought kids from all over the world, from Africa, from Asia, from South America. When I was about 18, we had a guy named Lucas Fernandez from Brazil, and he came and he stayed a summer with us, and I was able to learn more about the culture and language of Brazil, and I fell in love with the language, the culture, and the customs. And in that moment and through that process, I began to study Portuguese a little more. I began to pray about the country of Brazil, and God began to tug on my heart for that country. And during this time, I was actually studying and learning more and working better to improve my Spanish. And so during that time, I ended up putting Portuguese to the side because that's what I felt the Lord tell me to do. And so as I continued to grow and get older, I met more people from Brazil, from Angola that spoke Portuguese, and God continued to put people and Brazilians and the country of Brazil within my path and within my heart. Now, this last summer, I don't know if all of you know, some of you know that last summer I was in Cartagena, Colombia, and there I actually did my ministry practicum. I was there for about 2 months there in Colombia, evangelizing and getting some more experiences there as a missionary. And actually, one of the nights I went up to one of the prayer rooms on the rooftop, and I began to pray. And as I began to pray and worship God, all of a sudden a thought came to my mind, and it was about my mother, my father, my grandma, and my sister, about my family. And then I began to weep and began to cry, and I'm sitting there and I'm asking God, why? Like, what's going on? Are they okay? And as I did that, I felt God begin to speak to me and tell me that I needed to love on my family even more than I already do and care for them even more. And I'm like, God, I already do that. Like, I love them with all my heart. And I felt Him speak to me in that moment that He was telling me, you're called to be a missionary sooner than you think. And at that time, I was struggling with the decision of whether to continue my education after my 4 years here at Oral Roberts University, of whether to go on to grad school, maybe to get my master's in business or to pursue that. And during this time, I was just seeking the will of God on my life, and He came and met me through a thought about my family. And at this time, I began to think more and pray more about the country of Brazil. During this time at Cartagena, I was able to meet a guy from Brazil, actually a missionary there, and he was able to tell me more about the country, more about missions and ministry within Brazil. And I began to fall more in love with the culture and the country and God's desire for me to go. So I began to plan, okay, after graduation, I'll go there for maybe 2 or 3 months and just kind of get my feet wet, see how the country is, how ministry and missions is in Brazil, and then I'll come back and then I'll go back. And this first semester of my senior year here at Oral Roberts University, God began to speak to me more and more. And I took a whole week on just to fast and pray and to see God's will in my life because I knew I needed to make a decision soon. And during that time, God began to break my heart for the country of Brazil, began to open doors for connections there and ministries there in the country of Brazil. And through that time, He began to connect me with different people, different resources that all connected back to one particular ministry, and this ministry is called Project Amazon. And so going along through the process, talking to them, trying to get things figured out, I was offered another opportunity here at ORU to actually lead a team here from Oral Roberts University full of students, about 15 students. And we will actually be going to Santarém, Brazil, working with Project Amazon. And so the first month of my 6-month journey in Brazil will be with a team of ORU students where we will be evangelizing, preaching the gospel to different people within the villages of the Amazon River. And also we would do a lot of construction work, actually the physical building of the church. And then another thing that they really focus on is the discipling of and cell groups of the people within the church and outside of the church in order to grow and to spread the gospel along the Amazons. And after this first month with my team, I will actually stay another 3 months and 4 months total with Project Amazon, where I will continue to evangelize, to be able to preach, and to bring the gospel to the lost people there within the Amazons and within or in around the city of Santarém, Brazil. And after that time, I plan on going and traveling to Fortaleza to continue ministry there in Fortaleza with different ministries within the city, and also to spend time with friends. I actually have a couple friends there in Fortaleza, spend time with them, continue learning the language, immersing myself within the culture. And then the final month of the 6th month, I plan on going to Rio de Janeiro there in Brazil and continue working with different ministries and churches within the city and spreading the gospel, and continue my experience and learning of how missions and how ministry and how the people are in Brazil. I feel like God is leading me in the future to become a full-time missionary there in the country of Brazil. And I know that this is the first step, and He has opened doors that no man can shut or open. And I'm excited about this journey to go on with my team, and then to continue my journey by myself in the country of Brazil. And God has been faithful, just opening the doors for different opportunities and connections there within the country. And the trip dates will actually be from May 8th to June 8th, and that will be the first month of the team's trip there within Santarém. And then after, I will actually be staying all the way until November, around November 8th. And I just wanted to share a little bit more about my heart and why I'm going. And I wanted to also bring up how you guys can help support the dream and vision that God has given me to make this possible and to make this happen. It wouldn't be possible without the help of you guys. And so one way that you guys can donate is to go to orumissions.com/donate. And then you go and click and you put my name, Isaac Rodriguez, and then at the bottom, Team Brazil Amazon. And I will actually be going through ORU Missions totally, and everything is tax deductible. And so you're able to get your tax receipts on that and be able to write that out on your taxes as well. The total goal of the trip in funding is $7,500, and that will cover airfare to and from Brazil, and actually within the country to Fortaleza and to Rio de Janeiro, and also room and board for the 6 months, and also the visa costs and any vaccinations that I will need prior to the trip. And so I just wanted to share a little bit more about my heart and what God and the vision and dream that God has given me for the country of Brazil and for this 6-month journey that He has taken me on. And thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to hear my heart on the country of Brazil and to hear the vision that God has given me.